squeeze sutan chun katia nukadi. And Timmy squeeze salana ha and Miss squeeze darn haller. And I am 11 years old. Good day. My name is Aria Haller. My mother is a settler and my father is Hanikudin. And we live in Okanagan Silk Territory. Lumlum to the Silk people for having us here on their land today and teaching their language and stories to me. Maitsun at Sea went to St. Joseph's Residential School. I am a third-generation residential school survivor, and I want to see our Indigenous people strong. And I believe it is all of our responsibility to look back and recognize the truth so we can get to a healthier future, where we have celebrations, ceremonies, and speak our language. I want Indigenous and non-Indigenous people to come together to learn from our elders by listening to their stories and experiences. One story that I've been told that I'd like to share is Tupl's Captíkwł. The Sapi, a long time ago. Tupl would make hammocks and enjoyed lots of relaxing breaks in them. Everyone told Tupl to get ready for winter, which he planned to do later. One day, Tupl was hanging out in his hammock with a grande pumpkin spice latte. As he was enjoying it, he noticed that the days were getting shorter. The snow started to fall and began getting higher and higher. He realized he needed a warm place to stay, but all he had was his hammock, so he decided to ask the other animals for help. First, he went to Turtle, our Sikh's home, and knocked on the door. Tap, tap. But our Sikh wasn't home because he was out looking to add to his collections. So, Tupl continued on his way. Next, Tupl arrived at Black Bear, Skimheath's home, and knocked on the door. Tap, tap. Skimheath was home, but he didn't answer the door because he was already hibernating. So, Tupl continued on his way again. Then he arrived at Fox's house, Huilo, and knocked on the door. Tap, tap. Huilo opened the door and said, "Why, what's up?" Tupl said, "Well, I'm not ready for winter, so I was wondering if I could stay with you." But Huilo sighed. "I'm pretty busy throughout the winter. I have a lot going on. Maybe you could try asking my brother, Sinclair, Kyle." Tupl understood and said, "Okay, no problem." And off Tupl went to Sinclair's home and knocked on the door. Tap, tap. Sinclair opened the door. He looked to the left, and he looked to the right, and he looked up. Not seeing anyone, he closed the door, but he heard it again. Tap, tap. Sinclair flung up the door and looked around again. Not seeing anyone again, Tupl yelled, "Who's that? Who's there?" A small voice cried, "Excuse me, down here." Sinclair looked down and realized it was Tupl. "Oh, what's up, my friend?" Tupl explained that he wasn't ready for winter and he needed a place to stay. Sinclair said, "Sure, you can stay here, but what's in it for me?" Tupl suggested, "I can protect you from the monsters." But Sinclair laughed, "You're just a tiny little thing." Tupl suddenly grew bigger and bigger and bigger, with all of his eyes blinking down at Sinclair, his hairy legs, and his scary fangs. Sinclair took a gulp. "Whoa, you're right, that's terrifying. Sure, it's a deal. But you need to watch out for Mole, Pulach. She isn't a fan of bugs in the house, and you with your 8 creepy crawly legs will freak Mole out." Tupl understood and said, "Okay, no problem." Then Tupl crawled inside the house and found a nice warm little corner behind the cabinet. Tupl ate the flies in Sinclair's home. He wondered why there were so many flies. They never showered. One day, Sinclair was out on a journey, and Tupl heard a loud knock on the door. Bang, bang. Tupl took a gulp. Bang, bang. Tupl tiptoed to the door and answered it. Staring back at him was a very scary monster. Tupl gathered his courage and grew and grew and grew. He channeled his inner Hulk. And that monster took one look at his hairy legs and poisonous fangs. That monster ran away screaming, "Ah!" Feeling proud of himself, Tupl closed the door and tiptoed back to his hiding place. Another day, Sinclair was out on a journey again and noticed that the snow had melted. So as soon as Tupl got home, he showed Tupl the door, and off Tupl went to build more hammocks. Tupl's Captíkwł has many lessons. When Sinclair let Tupl in his home, even when Pulach wasn't sure about it. I think that's like truth and reconciliation, because it's like when people who harmed Indigenous people and the Indigenous people who experience that harm come together. Tupl's Captíkwł can also bring us together because it makes people feel happiness to their heart. It also teaches us no matter what our size, we can be strong and protect each other, just as Tupl protected Sinclair from the monsters. Oh, and of course, You should always let spiders into your home. I will continue to listen and learn from my elders, be proud of who I am and where I come from, and build connections in my community. Like a hummingbird, I am tiny but powerful. What could you do to help Indigenous people feel strong like me and stand up for others like Tupl? Lim Lim.